Is MSNBC spreading false information? Let's take a look.
He's a soldier, which is really important, but the fact that he's a human being. But let me start by saying this about that traffic stop. They call this in as a felony stop. That was not a felony stop because you cannot see someone tag displayed. So he called it in as a felony stop. And as you noticed in your reporting, he even lied about the type of stop that it was, what had occurred. And then we see this ongoing humiliation.
Okay, so this is a classic example of, they say the devil is in the details. So what he just said could be completely inaccurate, or it could be accurate. It depends on what he is saying exactly. He's not being very specific. He's just saying it wasn't a felony stop, and then he's making reference to the tag. However, did the police claim it was a felony stop because of the tag, or did they claim it was a felony stop because of failure to stop? Now, someone watching MSNBC, an MSNBC subscriber watching this, they would very likely just simply accept what he's saying as factual. They wouldn't question it, they wouldn't research it, and it makes sense. You say to yourself, hey, a tag is not a felony stop. The failure to display tag, we all know that's not a felony stop, right? And this is the way, and I'm not saying that they're trying to manipulate. By the way, I want to be very clear on that. What I'm pointing out is how you can be misled. They may not be misleading you intentionally, or this could actually be accurate. But this is a situation where it can be a manipulation attempt, where they give you factual information out of context to mislead you. We know that there was an issue with the tag. That's a fact. He's pointing out the fact that there was this tag not being displayed. And then he's making an assertion that, hey, this wasn't a felony stop because the tag not being displayed, that's not a felony stop. However, he doesn't clarify or specify the details of what the officers meant by felony stop. So this is what a felony stop is. Any stop which possesses a significant risk to the officer when dealing with the occupants of a vehicle. Situations that may fall into this category are known or suspected felons, an armed individual, or a potentially dangerous person. Notice the last one, a potentially dangerous person. Very vague, so they can apply it to whatever they want. When a police officer has a reasonable belief that a motor vehicle to be stopped contains an individual that fall into this category, the officer must employ a set of tactics substantially different from those used in low unknown risk stop. The officer's reasonable belief can be based on the officer's observations, official communications, and other sources of reliable information. So he could say, hey, tinted out car, refusing to stop, high probably he has a warrant or something. So they're supposed to notify dispatch immediately when they make this determination. Now, when a police officer pulls you over in Virginia, so this is the law in Virginia. And again, we don't know because he's not giving us the details. He just said, they said it was a felony stop. Okay, what was a felony stop? The tag or the not stopping? Right? He didn't specify. He just specifically says the tag is not a felony stop, and then he says they said it. But those two things may not be the same thing, right? There's the tag issue, and then there's a not pulling over issue, right? So the code is 46.2-817. Any person who has received a visible and audible signal from any law enforcement officer to bring his motor vehicle to a stop, drives such motor vehicle in a willful and wanton disregard of such signal, or who attempts to escape or elude such law enforcement officer, whether on foot, in a vehicle, or by other means, is guilty of a Class 2 misdemeanor. It shall be affirmative defense to a charge of a violation of this subsection if the defendant shows he reasonably believed he was being pursued by a person other than law enforcement officer. So now there's section B. any person who receiving a visible or audible signal from any law enforcement officer to bring his vehicle to a stop drives such motor vehicle in a willful, wanton disregard of such signal so as to interfere with or endanger the operation of law enforcement vehicle or endanger a person is guilty of a class 6 felony. So they might have changed the code. They didn't mention distance here, but they talk about it's very, very close. It's hard to tell the difference. It starts out with the same exact language. Bring his motor vehicle to stop, willful and wanton. So that's the same in both. Disregard of signal so as to interfere. Okay, so with the misdemeanor, it goes from signal or who attempts to escape. So the felony part is so as to interfere with or endanger the operation of the law enforcement vehicle. So if they have to speed to catch you, I guess that would be one thing. Or endanger a person. So that would be, again, speeding is guilty of a class 6 felony. It's interesting. So it looks like felony eluding really is the speeding and stuff like that, because you're putting the officer's life in danger and other people. So a high-speed pursuit becomes felony eluding based on the danger. So I'm going to have to say that I would want an explanation for why they would describe this as a felony stop. Clearly, it can't be for the tags. And according to the code, unless the officer somehow is mistaken about the code, as I was, and I'm pretty sure I remember reading that there was a distance thing, but everything I'm seeing here is all about the danger factor. So unless he was speeding, I don't see any reason why this would be a felony stop, because it looks to me, based on what I see here, failure to stop in a safe manner. So if you're doing it in a safe manner, so if you're driving at a safe speed, you're not putting anyone's life in danger, you're just refusing to stop, would be a misdemeanor. Now, I don't know at what point in time will it stay there. I mean, what if I drive safely for an hour? Would that still be a misdemeanor if I have police following me for an hour, driving like 45 miles per hour? I'm signaling, I'm stopping at stop signs. They could say you're interfering with the police because they're trying to stop you and you're not stopping. I don't know. I'm not a judge.
So this is not a new issue. It's just that we're able to catch it now on video, and we're seeing it over and over and over again. American policing in this country is broken. It's going to have to be fixed. We cannot continue to move forward the way that we're doing now and expect somehow miraculously overnight something is going to change. It's going to take a lot of legislation at the federal, state, and local levels in order to change these behaviors, because even if you look at that traffic stop, tactically, if that was a felony stop, it was totally inaccurate, wrong, was not trained that way. But it was not a felony stop to begin with. And in addition to all that, the humiliation, calling him out the way that they did, you're going to ride the lightning? No, Officer Gutierrez, you should have been fired the night that this occurred. And he should never be in policing again. And quite frankly, those who hired him in that city, from his elected officials down to his police chief, need to be held responsible. And not just monetarily, but held responsible politically for having that type of personality and individual as part of their police ranks.
And now MSNBC has this race baiting clown on here, and the people on the left don't even call them out for it. There's no reason why this guy should be on a mainstream media network like MSNBC, on some YouTuber channel or something like that. But with the stuff that he said in the past, this guy has no credibility to be on MSNBC. So by them having him on for so many years, they have no credibility. But I took a look at an online forum. This is pistolforum.com, and this person looks like they might be potential law enforcement. So he says, a vehicle failing to yield for a mile will definitely send me to condition red, and I would already be planning my felony stop. The suspect vehicle pulling into a well-lit gas station would have probably caused me to take the intensity down a notch, though. My thinking on this is that in most traffic stop shootings I'm familiar with, the suspect would attempt to kill the officer at the initial scene of the stop. I'm not aware of an incident in which the suspect drove to a well-lit gas station that would have likely had many witnesses in order to then try to murder the officer. In the end, I can see both sides on this. The lieutenant was pulled over for valid reason and failed to comply with the lawful commands given to him by uniformed law enforcement officers operating a marked police vehicle. That generally leads to a use of force. I can emphasize with the lieutenant wanting to get to the gas station where he would have witnesses to the traffic stop, especially if he had any prior negative interactions with law enforcement. One of the articles I read about this incident included a quote from one of the officers involved regarding the lieutenant driving to the gas station. He had said something to the effect of, "People do that all the time." The article also stated something to the effect of that the officers had told the lieutenant after everything was done that he could let everything go and they wouldn't charge him, but if he wanted to make an issue of this, they would charge him with eluding and resisting. So there's the eluding charge, and it would destroy his career. I don't know how much of that is true because I've lost a lot of faith in the mainstream media over the past few years, but if it's accurate, then Stephanie is right and the municipality needs to get their checkbook ready. So they comment about them yelling conflicting commands, the officers. This person says it wasn't a felony stop.
Number 5326, shots fired! Shots fired! 5326, shots fired! 83295.
Well, that's all I have. This is the Debate Me channel. Debate me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well. Tell me your thoughts. Comment below. Comment below and tell me your thoughts. I want to hear what you think about it. Okay, I'm going to stop singing.